Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Thank you so much for the time and chance given to me to present my research. And I am Apolonia Sherly da Costa, but my nickname is Sherly. You can call me Sherly. I'm from East Nusa Tenggara Province, Indonesia. It is located in eastern part of Indonesia. And now I'm doing my doctoral study, doctorarium natrium, in Institute of Social Geography, Friedrich Schiller University of Vienna, Germany. And my research is about flood hazard mapping and assessment based on community perception in remote area of eastern Indonesia. A case study in West Malaka subdistrict of Belu regency, Nusa Tenggara Province, Indonesia. Yeah. As we can see in this map, the Benaran River watershed division in the study area. So Benaran River watershed is divided to countries, East Timor and Indonesia, as we can see in the percentage weight of the catchment area. 33% in East Timor, Timor-Leste, and 67% Indonesia. And Benaran River watershed in Timor Island it started from south central of Timor, or is known as upstream area, and middle stream area or north central of Timor, and Belu, downstream area, which is here the three more prone villages are conducted. And for more detail, here the district location. Yeah. This is the research locations. Lasain Village, Umatos Village, and Valvoe Village, which is located in downstream area or closely to the Benaran River estuary. And yeah, the factors of flooding. The first factor is the natural factor of flooding. Actually, I'm not really doing my studies about physical, geography, hydrological, or remote sensing GIS, but I really concerned about social geography, social assessment, or resilience in the study area. So actually, I want to tell about, this is actually the first objective of the result of my Master of Science project in Gajah Mada University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and the second research on resilience, analysis on resilience, where I submitted to International Institute for Applied System Analysis in Luxembourg, Austria last year for my summer program as a research scientist at Risk Policy and Vulnerability in Young Scientist Summer Program. Well, but I'm going to explain about the natural factor based on community perceptions. And this research, I want to tell to you that this research has never been conducted by any researcher from any institutions in Indonesia, even in another country in the world. So that's why I'm using community perceptions to know what is information, what is their aspirations, and what is their knowledge about the flood hazard and how could they deal with flooding. So it's about social assessment. But here the natural factor of flooding, enough high intensity of rainfall in each year, 10,903 millimeter, and the large catchment area of Benaran River is more or less 1,594 kilometers square, and the stream flow of Benaran River is braided and meanderings, and the low cliffs and malfunction of the estuary of Benaran River. And based on the community perceptions, when I did field work in focus group discussion and PGIS, they said that the key leaders and the key informants said that all stream goes to the estuary of Motadikin, was closed, and then flows to the estuary of the Abu Danok in estuary of Benaran River watershed, and the intersection of water at rivers cliffs in Valvoe village, thus it flows through Umatos village. So yeah, these are the next factors, so physical and human factors, which lead to broken dike. And here there is a story again. I want to tell you about in 1999 when post-referendum happened in East Timor. Mostly the refuge of East Timor moved to Kupang, but mostly they are settled, make a living in upstream area, in the border area between East Timor and Indonesia, and they make social activities there, and that's why bring it down the big volume of sediments to downstream area, and that's why flooding happens. But actually, these are not the sole factors why then flooding happens. I want to add point here is anthropogenic factors, which is related to spatial planning and land use, and without government rule in the study area. In the past, actually, affected community, West Malaka subdistrict is not original West Malaka. Malaka comes from China, Malaka, Singapore, Thailand, and China. And before the return period, 20 years return period, they were coming to the area, which is actually the agricultural area, and it's not proper to building a house because it's close also to Berenan River, and it's really dangerous. But they building house and they make a living there. That's why this is the factor of anthropogenic factor. And at the time, there is no rule of governments. In Indonesia, we have regulation in 2009, 2011, 2012, and in the recent year, 2013, number 29, about the spatial planning, which really important to take community to make decision makers. But now, in fact, that government doesn't take its rule. That's why this is also really related with government rule in the study area. And here the factors weakening environmental resilience and become leading obstacle for the community social economic development. And also casualties to their assets or their capitals, because in my resilience analysis, I analyze starting from human, natural, physical, social, economic, cultural, political, anti-law or legal capitals to try to overcome these solutions. So this really make community disrupt with their daily activities, their daily economics, and their life. And that's why factor of capacity assessment, I did this research. Yeah. And here we go in research objective and research questions. So the research objectives to produce flood event map based on community perceptions, where here the research question is in order to know what flood frequency, flood distribution, flood duration, water depth, and level damage or the casualties of flood in study area. And the research method is, okay, I did interview, focus group discussions, and PGIS. Well, here I don't put the definition why I didn't choose focus group discussion in PGIS, but based on the previous research, according to Alvar 2009, that focus group discussions is one of a good approach for the community and the governments, in order the government and community could sit together and to overcome the problems that happen in rural area. And PGIS, in Indonesian regulation number 27, 2007, about this is new regulations created by the government of Indonesia about the role of community is really important in taking decision making for community development and for disaster management. That's why I put here as an approach. So this is the research method. Yeah. And this is the scheme, participative mapping and community perception on capacity assessment toward flood events. Actually in the left side, because in the right side is about my second objective on analyzing community resilience, not about flood hazard mapping and assessments. So I did by myself the steps that community should take to gather the information about flood hazard mapping and assessment, explanation of flood event map, identification of flood hazard map, flood hazard zone delineations, exposure to people perception, and community appraisal, and then I got flood even map based on community perception. Yeah. Since there is no data about hydrological modeling or PGI or GIS or remote sensing in the study area, so I use community perception. Here the data about flood frequency. The return period is 20 years, starting from 1939, 1959, 1979 until 1999. When political war between East Timor and Indonesia happened, and after that, in 1999, periodically every year happened the flood disaster until 2011, 2012, and until now. So this is the casualties that people have to face. Okay. And this is the flood extreme flood distribution map in the study area. And as we can see on the map, that all sites are inundated. Lasain village, Favoy village, and Umatos village. And as we can see in that picture, it's my picture. I was standing in the broken dike or broken embankment. And this is the top of the dike. This is the agriculture site, and this is the area which is close to estuary, Benenan River estuary. Flood duration in Lasain village. So it takes a long risk for them because long durations started from 0 until 0 and even more than 15 days, even more than 1 month. The same as Umatos village, that's really different variation. And in Favoy village as well. And water depth in Lasain village started from 50 centimeter and more than even 300 centimeter, 3 meter, or more than 300 centimeter. And this is the pictures, the broken road. The road becomes river and the livestock, and this is the students because they are studying in center of West Malaka and they have to cross the road, which is it's really broken because due to the flood disaster. And this is water depth in Umatos village, the same information gathered from the community. And this is the water depths reach 80 or 90 centimeter, and they built barrier doors to protect their house to alleviate flooding. Water could enter their house, and this is actually the traditional dike along the road between Umatos village to Lasain village. And yeah, this is the one of traditional house, and this is the impact of flooding. And this is water depth in Favoy village, which is more than 300 meters, as we can see in that picture when I measure. And this is the broken road becomes river as well. This one and this one, the pile of mud is really thick. And flood impact in the study area. Flood impact in the study area related with consequence of floodings. Since the affected community has lowest incomes, so the more income, the more economic recovery. But in fact, they have low incomes, so they have loss of property, the content of the house, as we can see in the previous pictures that I have shown to you, and loss of livestock, nurseries in Umatos village, cultural heritage sites, and visitor in Favoy village, accessibility disruption, damaged infrastructure, road, public infrastructure, and broken dike, as already seen in the previous pictures. And conclusion and recommendations is really simply explained. Frequency is 20 years return periods. Distribution, all sites are inundated and disrupted all daily activities of the affected community. And duration is based on interview and focus group discussion. We take long duration, more than 15 days, even more than 1 month, and there is no help from government. And water depth, zone depth variations, even more than 300 meter, 300 centimeters, sorry, and 300 meter at 3 meter, 300 centimeter, and damage impact and consequence in terms of on economy or income for the affected community. This should be overcome by the governments. Well, so the recommendation is government financial and economic physical recoveries or socialization for community. And maybe I want to add here is flood insurance, because Indonesia has no flood insurance. When I was in IAS in Luxembourg, Austria, they were designing about the CATSIM model for measuring the flood insurance from GDP from each government who has to take a role to handle flood disaster in each country. Maybe further research should take this method. And well, there should be implementing good management related to political interventions. Yeah. And conducting cultural capital on rural resilience and flooding for further research. And maybe here, the experts, you are here, you are experts in GIS or remote sensing or in physics geography. I invite you to conduct research in my home country, because even in my country, I'm the first who concerned about the affected community. Indonesia, I don't know, maybe they're more concerned about energy and something else. I don't know. Vielen Dank. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The flooding obviously is something regular now. Is that from deforestation, the cause, or is that something that is just naturally occurring in that part of Indonesia, like in the Amazon, seasonally? Is it from deforestation, the flooding? How does that contribute to the flooding besides the dams?
What are the casualties of flooding, your case stands?
I'm saying, how does deforestation contribute to the regular flooding that occurs there?
I'm sorry, I cannot catch.
Are you link of deforestation with the incidence of flooding?
Deforestation.
Logging, the trees.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a human intervention, right? In the upstream area, so they make a living, social economic activities, and mostly are from East Timor refuge, former East Timor refuge, who settle in the upstream area in South Central of Timor in Atambua. Yeah.